want to share with you a little tip, a strategy that has never failed me that I wish I'd have known about earlier in my life. I grew up in a middle-class family where the message was work hard, save your money, prepare for an emergency. Basically, that was the message, right? Something bad's gonna happen, you need your money, save it, work hard, put your money away, save on your deals, don't overspend. That whole Dave Ramsey concept about don't overspend, don't get debt, prepare for something bad, don't overspend your situation, the millionaire next door, all that concept, buy a used truck. The problem with that, while it has some good information in it, the problem with it starts limiting and reinforcing the limits on our lives, our potential, and our abilities. So here I am today in my life where I have figured out how to undo that and escape that thinking and that level of living every day where you're basically worried constantly about, even when you have a victory, I got to save that victory over here because something bad might happen and it's going to be taken away from me or my family, or I'm not going to be able to provide for them. That is the basis, by the way, for why you guys invest in houses. You bought a house because it's a place to save money. You put money away in a Kio, gave it off to Wall Street and the casino. You gave it to them so they could somehow, take care of it because you're not capable of doing it. And you're left in a life, at least I was, where I'm worried all the time, constantly worried about what am I spending? What does gasoline cost? What does food cost? What's the restaurant cost? What's the vacation cost? What does everything cost? What does Denora cost? So I can't give her a job. She can't help me because I'm worried about how much money I pay her. So it keeps people trapped in their little problems. And that's really what I want to talk to you today. Do you have the same problems in your life today that you had last year, 2 years ago, 3 years, 5 years? Are you having the same recurring problems over and over again? See, the 10X thing, the whole 10X thing, if you've heard anything about the 10X thing, it's really about expanding yourself so you don't have the same problems over and over. I'll give you a perfect example. I grew up in Louisiana. I was getting out of college in the 80s. And at that time, there was an oil embargo. Gasoline went to like $3 a gallon. The whole world freaked out. I think it was $2.58, $2.75. Imagine this, the whole world tripped. There was people in lines, you couldn't get fuel. And what happened back then was everybody started thinking, oh my God, fuel cost is gonna kill us. Fuel cost, the cost of a gallon of gas, $2.58. Find out, go across town, don't spend your gas. Literally put more air in your tires. There was news reporters telling you to put more air in your tires so you would spend less gas. So that got grooved into my thinking. And my problem, and the problem for millions, hundreds of millions of people, became how much they paid for a gallon of gas. Or how much they paid for food, right? Or how much that membership cost, or how little they got paid, right? But in this case, I'm gonna use the fuel. How much I paid for fuel determined whether or not I would have any extra money left over. And I was trapped in this long after the oil embargo ended, by the way. 20 years later, I'm still thinking. I remember when gas ran up to $5 in LA just about 10 or 15 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, and I was terrified. I'm like, oh, this is gonna break me. It reinforced that idea that I had long ago. Now this is years following when I had become fairly successful, 5 businesses, a bunch of real estate, written 7 books, and I still had this thing grooving in on me. Oh my God, man, $75 for a tank of gas? You need to start saving your money again. You need to start protecting yourself. You need to work harder. You need to make sure, don't go out to dinner anymore, okay? And I got trapped back in my little problem. So here's the game. This is how you play the game. I'm gonna share with you a tip here, a strategy, where I guarantee you if you do this, it will change the level of problems you have in your life, from little problems to big problems. That's right, I said it. You don't want little problems, you want big problems. So let's take the gas, okay? You see this right here? This is Gulfstream 550. Gulfstream 550 is $52 million, brand new. Costs about $3 million a year to operate. And those wings, that wing right there takes 25,000 gallons of fuel, 25,000 pounds. That wing right there takes 25,000 pounds. Pounds, not gallons. Now what did I just do? $52 million to purchase, $3 million to operate every year, and 50,000 pounds of fuel. Am I worried about $3 a gallon anymore? See, my new goal now is I want to buy this jet. I want to keep this jet in the air. I want to go from here to Hawaii in the jet. I want to go from here to France in the jet. I want to go from here to Moscow in my jet. Am I worried about $3 gas? Hey, by the way, that jet's no good without fuel. Okay, see what I did was, and what I do every day is I wrote hey, I own a Gulfstream 550, I own a Gulfstream 550, I own a Gulfstream 550. My attention's no longer on $3 gas or $5 gas or $10 gas. It's on pounds, it's on pilots, it's on hangars, it's on putting it in the air, it's on inspections and checks, it's on how am I gonna pay $50 million for a jet? Change your mind, okay? Get your attention on big giant goals, even unachievable. These goals, every goal I've had in my life, every goal worth having is unachievable for you today, otherwise it wouldn't be a goal. Get your attention on things that are out of reach, okay, that you can't even figure out, so that you get your attention off these little tiny punk problems that you've been carrying around with you for years, okay? The concept is this: have goals so big, your mama won't like this. Have goals so big that your problems pale in comparison. My goal, we just closed on this jet, by the way, to tell you the fun part of the story. We just closed on this jet, and my goal is to use this piece of equipment to reach the world, to go around and make friends around the world, not clients, to make friends around the world, to be of service to people around this planet and re-educate, fill in the gaps between what your parents gave you, what society has given you, and what the education system has said are your limits. You can do more than just a job. You can have problems bigger than just worried about gas. You could literally say, you know what? I'm not gonna just worry about my mama's health. I'm gonna somehow change the hospitals and the medical conditions in my city, my state, my country. Okay? Again, have goals so big. Okay, it doesn't have to be a jet, by the way. Have goals so big that your problems pale in comparison. Okay, maybe you have an addiction problem. Okay, you would change the shift from your addiction problems, your addiction to whatever that drug is, to hey, I want to resolve the addiction problem on the planet.
There's nothing more powerful than a changed mind. And I'm not talking about changing your client's mind. I'm talking about changing your own mind, because success is in your mind. You decide when you are happy, you decide when you are unhappy. You may think it's your children, it's your client, it's someone else who gives you happiness. But imagine if someone who gives you happiness, you're giving the remote control of your happiness to them. The same people who make you happy have a power to make you unhappy. Happy, unhappy, happy, unhappy, right? You don't ever want to give control of your happiness. Every one of us here is so focused on going out and becoming successful that they forget that after being successful, you still have to go out and become significant. How do you become significant? How do you find the happiness? How do you find the fulfillment? Interestingly, the human body, our DNA, is designed for us to be generous, because we realized when we were way back when, in the tribes, we realized if we didn't help each other, we all die. Our DNA says the only way we survive in the long term is when we take care of each other. Then why is it that we constantly trying to play tricks on our mind or play tricks on our client's mind for them to do something that they are not intended to do? Think about when we hire people, what do? We take advantage of basic chemical in our brain called dopamine. We give them a goal. If you meet this goal, you get this bonus. If you do this, you get a promotion. If you do this, you get this. It's a constant dopamine hit. And what happens is they get addicted to that dopamine and they constantly keep doing it. And at the end of the day, they all feel unfulfilled, because dopamine only lasts for very little time, short time. And they all feel down because you have let them down. The only way you can build relationship is like thinking of your employees, thinking of your clients, same as your children. So I'm going to say that being an entrepreneur and the best successful marketing is treating everyone around you just like you will treat your children.